They are the dreamer, the damsel, the sometimes disillusioned optimist, the fighter, and the martyr. And I wonder whether just from the names, anything feels familiar to you. But let's go through and see. We'll start with the dreamer. So the dreamer wants things to be different. They have a goal and they dream about having the goal. So maybe it's a new job, a promotion, a new career, or like Sleeping Beauty, she has the goal of her prince. Maybe it's a new relationship or a current relationship being the way that it used to be or the way it never has been, but you want it to be. And they dream about having that goal. They might imagine other people changing so that the goal can come to be. And they tend to think about doing things one day or someday. So when we're in this identity, that's one of the ways that we can kind of notice it for ourselves is there something that you're thinking that, yeah, I want to do that. I'm going to do it at some point. Maybe I'm going to do it later. When we're in this identity, we don't usually take any action. So we have a very passive approach and we just allow life to unfold. So that's our first one, the dreamer. So just notice if any of that comes up and feels familiar for you, if you notice any of that happening, and if so, where in your life is that happening? Does it apply to one of the problems you've decided to focus on? Is now something else coming up that you hadn't really noticed? Just pay attention to that. And then we have the damsel. So the damsel waits for someone to help and waits for the universe to help. So we can kind of recognize this one in ourselves when we're sort of waiting around, waiting for things to change, waiting for someone to come along, waiting to be given the promotion, waiting for the time to be right to tackle the problem at home or the problem in our relationship. Maybe we're waiting until September to make the changes to our health we want to make, and then maybe we'll wait till January. So that feels better. A real, like a lack of direction and motivation is part of this identity, as is low confidence. So we can notice ourselves being in this identity when we're telling ourselves that we don't know what to do, we don't know how to do it, or we just can't do it. So is that coming up for you anywhere? And again, the damsels lets life happen. And we have Julia Roberts here from Pretty Woman. My cultural references always date me. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. And in fairness to Julia in The Pretty Woman, she is just about to take action. I think when Richard Gere climbs up the fire escape to rescue her, she's just about to go back to school and do whatever she's going to do. She's going to take action. But the story is that she's always wanted the prince to climb up the tower and rescue her. Like this identity is where we're waiting, we're hoping for something else to happen. So we're just letting life happen around us. So that's our damsel. And then we have the optimist, who can often become disillusioned. So the optimist also has dreams and hopes for change to happen, but they are an action taker. So they try all the latest crazes. So it might be diets, productivity hacks, time blocking, apps. Maybe they read all the self-help books, but somehow they don't sustain the changes. And then every time they kind of fall away from the changes, they fail in some way, they become disillusioned. So maybe with the diet not working quickly, not getting to the gym consistently, maybe not creating enough success in their business quickly enough, things going wrong. And then the failure like hits really hard, really knocks their confidence. They feel that failure really deeply, and then it stops them. But then they keep coming back because, like Bridget Jones, they love a fresh start. So the fresh, crisp, blank page of a new diary, the blank slate of a new year, a new month, a new week, and the cycle continues. Notice if that feels familiar to you and where, if so. And then our next identity is the fighter, Rocky. So they struggle against the problem. So they hit really hard against the heavy workload, caring responsibilities, the stress. They put in all the work, they put in all the hours, they do everything that everybody wants them to do. And they work really hard for the goal as well. So they go all out, maybe with really strict, restrictive diets, putting in all the hours, working all the evenings, working all the weekends to get the project done, to get the qualification, to create success in their business. And you can recognize this identity in you if you think that you don't have time to stop, that you always have to keep going. And if this is you, you rarely ask for support, most likely. And you might not notice or celebrate or enjoy the successes that you're achieving because you're always focused on where the next fight is coming from and how you're going to fight the next problem. And then if we're in this identity, we often think it's working for us because we'll have some evidence of success and we think that we've gotten that success through fighting. But really what's happening when we're in this identity, what we're doing is we're responding to life rather than creating it. So we're kind of seeing the challenges, seeing the problems and knocking them down, but we're not looking over here at what we really want. And we're not appreciating and enjoying the experience of solving those problems because it all just feels like such a constant struggle. And then finally, we have the martyr, Marge Simpson in this case. And the martyr takes it all on, all the problems, tries to solve them all. So all the problems at work, their kids' problems, their partner's problems, their friends' problems. If you feel like you might have the weight of the world on your shoulders, you might have a bit of this identity going on, especially if you find yourself complaining about it all. So thinking it's not fair, no one appreciates me. And some of this might just stay and go around in your head while you silently seethe about it all. Some of it might come out regularly or in occasional eruptions. And again, with the martyr identity, we may think we're doing all right because we're getting a lot done. But the experience, again, is not a winning experience. Like we feel like we're in the trenches of life. So those are our 5 identities. I want you just to be noticing what, if anything, feels relevant and familiar to you.